Hey everyone. So I love making things, and one of the things that I want to get better at heading into the new year is sharing my projects. I've heard this quote before where basically it goes, if you share your projects and you share what you love and what you want to work on, then that can just draw more towards you. So I want to find a community out there. I also want to find people that are interested in very similar things as me. Something that has been really difficult though is getting started. I'm sure a lot of you out there understand that as well. It's so hard to just pick up a camera or to pick up anything and to film your projects or even just start your projects. I know that has been a really big challenge for me as well. So today I want to walk you through something that I did to make it a little bit easier. Just take one more step towards being able to create and to share my projects. So what is that? You can see my 3D printer right here beside me. It's an Ender 3 from Creality, and I installed Octoprint on my printer. What does this do? What is Octoprint? So Octoprint basically allows me to wirelessly connect to my printer. I can monitor it, I can upload different files and different jobs to it, but what's really cool is that it unlocks Octolapse. Now what Octolapse is a software that creates really cool time lapses of your 3D prints, and I'll insert one right now. Isn't that so cool? So, what I wanted to do was just walk you through some things that I did to set up Octolapse and Octoprint, also talking through some of the pitfalls and things that I had to test and iterate through as well, and then we can wrap it up. To start off, I wanted to talk through, basically you have to take a Raspberry Pi and set it up onto your printer, give it some power, and connect it to a camera. Here I have the Raspberry Pi camera that you can just get online. It's not super high quality, as you can see, and that's one of the upgrades I want to make later on, is actually seeing if I can use my DSLR camera to take these time lapses and figure that out. So what I ended up doing was I took already made case on Thingiverse, and I'll have that link in the description down below to where I found that file. I was able to print it out and assemble my Raspberry Pi 4 into that case, connect a camera to it, and as you can see, I'm just using these little helping hands for right now, and that is all in the vein of getting it out, getting it done, and just being able to create. So another thing that I would upgrade in the future, and that a lot of people have, is actually arms that can connect either to their setup so that it's a permanent install, a little bit more permanent than this. But for right now, as I'm kind of playing with the idea and figuring things out, this adjustable arm is great as I can move it around and get the camera into position where I want it. Really, the hardware setup was very simple, very straightforward, not too complicated once you have all the parts. The thing that really hindered me is I'm not as much of a software guy, so getting it all up and running on my computer and getting Octoprint downloaded onto the Raspberry Pi was a little bit difficult to set that up. So some things that made it a little bit difficult for me, and I'm not going to be able to do a full walkthrough of how I solved each one of these things, but it was just a lot of YouTube, a lot of Google to try and a lot of forum searching. So thank you for everyone out there. There are some great resources to other creators that know a lot more about Octoprint and Octolapse than I do. So please just research out there and give them credit when you can. So basically what I had to do first was download Octoprint onto a micro SD card. I was able to do that fairly simply. You can go to their website and they have a great step-through guide on how to do that and get all the settings changed for that. Once you do that, you can actually plug it in. There's a micro SD card slot on the Raspberry Pi, and then power it up, and it'll just boot that system up and connect from there. So then, once you're done with that, you need to get onto your laptop or your mobile device, however you're going to connect to the 3D printer, and you have a couple settings there. You can connect online, and then what you can do is actually monitor temperatures, monitor the print, and upload files there, as well as look at what the camera is seeing in real time, and set up Octolapse. The biggest thing that gave me trouble, really, Octoprint worked right out of the gate. It was so easy, so simple. There were a couple things that I needed to just make sure I was doing right when I used my slicer, which is Cura. So I use the latest version of Cura. I think it's 4.8 right now. And there's a couple things that you need to do with that and to set it over so that when you do the time lapses, it actually holds those settings. It knows when the bed is going to move. But the biggest thing I had trouble with was getting Octolapse to work, which is funny because that's the one thing that I really wanted to use this setup for. So to get that to work, basically what you had to do was I need to insert some custom G-code into Cura. I was able to do that, but then it wouldn't allow me to print, even though I had done everything right in the instructions, which was really confusing. When I set it all up, I had Octolapse turned on and enabled in the software, but it wouldn't send the job to the actual printer. So what I ended up finding after a couple hours of some research was I needed the next version of Octolapse. There was something wrong with the version that I had downloaded. I guess it was a version before the most current at the time, and it wouldn't work with my Cura setup as I had it. So once I found that out, really, it was a simple fix. All I had to do was update Octolapse on my software, and I just needed to restart and reboot my Raspberry Pi. Once that was updated, I downloaded a quick job, which is the one that you saw earlier, and I was able to print it very easily, and it all worked, which is awesome. So what that gets me is now I can do time lapses of my 2D prints for future projects. When I design things and want to print them out, I don't have to sit here with a camera all the time and get really good shots. I'm totally going to do that and add those in, but I will have this Pi Cam sitting here and able to do a full time-lapse video. This was a little bit bigger of a project than I thought it would be, and I don't know if that's just me figuring things out or how everything is put together, but I'm really glad that I did it because it got me back on the horse. I have a project under my belt, which feels really good, and I can continue to move forward and hopefully film more of these videos to put on to YouTube. Some future changes, I had mentioned a little bit before, but I do want to figure out how to set up a nicer camera than this Raspberry Pi. It's great for monitoring and doing some of that work, but really in the long run, to get really great video so everyone can see what I'm making, I want to be able to set up either DSLR or maybe even a phone. I know a lot of people use mechanical ways where the print head maybe will come over and click a switch that actually activates the shutter on a camera. I also know that there are ways to do it through the software, and so again, just a little bit more research. Gonna do it, but I wanted to get the project done rather than get it perfect. And so this is for sure a continual improvement type of situation here. I also want to look at some more additional plugins for Octoprint. There's a really great community of developers that come up with so many cool plugins that you can just add. I know one that I did was the Spaghetti Detective, and what it allows you to do is it actually uses the camera and AI, and it detects if your print has failed by looking at the spaghetti clump. That's a common term, basically all the filament that just comes out if you fail a print, and it will alert you, and you can also set it to even stop the print. For more hobby printers like this, where I don't have anything like filament run out detection or anything like that, automatic bed leveling, it's nice to have some of those features, and there are quite a few out there that you can add to monitor everything if you want to. Another thing that I would love to have is a dedicated setup for the Raspberry Pi camera. I'll probably keep it on here just to do the monitoring side, even if I don't use it to film videos and put it in my videos. but I do want to create or have a dedicated system for that Pi camera. So, in recapping, basically I just wanted to share with you how I struggle to get started on these projects, and I'm sure a lot of other people do as well. It takes a lot of effort, and so I hat tip anybody who is out there and creating videos. I wanted to show you how I am trying to take one more step to get these ideas out of the dreamer phase, which is what I usually stay in, and get them into reality. I hope this inspires you and helps you get one step closer for you to make. That's really the purpose of these videos, and the goal is to inspire others to make as well. I would love to see the projects that you're working on, or hear back from you. If you have any comments, please leave them down in the comment section below, or you can head over to Instagram and follow me there at Charles Briggs Created. I just really love to connect with you guys, hear your thoughts and your inspiration, and gather that. Okay, well, have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.